This, which will make life easy for us to live.
It's really an issue that has been lingering for a very long time now. I remember coming down here to this venue today and I saw the queue in the NNPC filling station, and I feel that this is part of the reason why we're having the hike in prices of things. And something can be done. The NNPC can do something about this to make sure that fuel is readily available to every part of Nigeria.
Like now, I'm doing business and I want to purchase something. I can't buy it normal price. The price will go higher, and at the end of the day, I cannot even get what to eat. I cannot see money to buy what I will eat with my baby. So it's really very hard for us to survive.
The issue is quite alarming and so disheartening because most of us have a lot of things to do. Like where you used to go to 200 is now 500. Where you used to, somebody that is an average worker, maybe a sales girl that is being paid 30K. Imagine your transport fare every day. You might just, half of your money will be gone for just transportation. It doesn't only affect our transportation, it also affects our daily living. The thing used to, even biscuit, that one hurts me. I'm seriously saying it. Biscuit I used to buy 16 naira is now 120. And 150 on is now 300. Imagine students like us, how we are going to be surviving and how we are going to be managing ourselves. Some of us in school, they are the one catching for ourselves. So when you combine these two school activities and daily living, it's quite alarming.
To be honest, me, in school, I trekked from the hostel to the gate because the transport fare was 70 naira, but now it is 150. So the increment is is so overwhelming that I prefer trekking. Like I rather trek than to spend 150 naira. It's a lot on transport, and the distance is actually so short compared to what it was before. So aside transportation, it has also affected the cost of feeding. Yes, because if you want to if you want to buy pepper now, pepper that was let me say 20, 15 naira, it's just for 200 naira. Now I don't know what it is now. So both feeding, accommodation, because your agent will also add transportation to go check the building, and all this, like it's numerous. It's even the school fees has increased. Our school fees has increased.
Actually, what I think about the award is that there's speciality in the award, in the sense that Rodri is not better than Vinicius. For me, Vinicius is the best midfielder in the world. For me right now, Vinicius is the best midfielder in the world. It is just because black people are stereotyped. That's why awards are not even given to them. It's not even only in football. In every aspect of life, black people are stereotyped. If you come to a position where a black man is supposed to get an award, they will pick a white person over a black man. It has always been like that. So Vinicius' case is not different. For me, Vinicius is the best midfielder in the world. In the world, when I mean in the world, Vinicius is the best midfielder. Quote me anywhere. Yes, he was robbed of the award. Rodri is not better than Vinicius in any way.
The award day before yesterday was nothing to write home about, because I felt like Vinicius was robbed. Everybody knows that he deserved the Ballon d'Or from his hard working on the pitch and outside the pitch, and also for we, the fans of football. We know that he has been fighting for racism outside the pitch and inside the pitch as well. So a lot of things, a lot of contemplations, but at the end of the day, we know that time to come, they will compensate him for him to win the next one.
The Ballon d'Or they give, through na Rodri deserve that Ballon d'Or because Rodri na one kind player. He is the key player has for Man City. When if Rodrigo no dey Man City match, they no fit play anything. Now to just run and escape to 1-1-0, they take the win their match. But Rodrigo last season, he was best player in the Europe.
This Ballon d'Or shock everybody because I'm think even that I'm calling Gino in Real Madrid the next Ballon d'Or winner. As they can't give a Man City player, I shock because when 2010 they left Schneider and Iniesta, they give to Messi. So this one shock everybody too. Make FIFA do something about it because we know they know what is right for them, but we fans, we know what is right for us, and then we are seeing it. The PSV play well, PSV never play well.
So me, I personally think that Vinicius won it, though Rodri is an amazing player, but last year best player was Vinicius Junior, in my opinion.
Since 1960, when we got independence, under the leadership of Zik and Awolowo, Sardauna Sokoto, Tafawa Balewa, things were in order. I was a very young person that time. Independence was something that we celebrated in a very big way during that time. After some years, we went to the military regime. Are you getting the point? There things begin to wobble from one year to another, the rest of it all. Since then, I don't think there is any improvement. Yes, there is no improvement. Yeah, we enjoy. At least after 10 years of independence, or if not 20 years, since then, nothing has changed. Nothing. We have not even, in fact, we are not be able to say we are now Nigerians that got independence, 1st of October, 1960. Nothing to show for it. Nothing practically to show for it. Hunger, poverty, sickness. Hospitals, no drugs. Talk about electricity, that one is 0/100. Are you getting the point? Potable water to drink is out of the game. Look at the oil subsidy that they removed. See where he plunged Nigerians into. No food, nothing. You hold 10,000 naira, you only buy have penta or gari. Where are we? We say that we are the giant of Africa. Where is the giant of Africa? Where we don't have anything to show for it. Our economy in Shabo is finished, it's dried.
For me, I'm not feeling anything for the celebration because Nigeria is really, really messed up as it stands now. There is nothing good in Nigeria, especially in the leadership system. Everything is falling. Look at the fuel price and the commodities in the market. It's very expensive. Celebrating, what's there to celebrate Nigeria independence when the poor masses can barely afford or to meet up their end living? So for me, the 64th independence Nigeria is celebrating is nothing to write home about. I'm not feeling excited because the country is already messed up already.
Nobody is enjoying the country anymore. The politicians, they are not after the poor masses. They are just enjoying doing their thing, only them alone. Even us boys now, we don't have work, no work in the streets. How will you? I don't have much to tell you about Nigeria anymore because I'm tired of Nigeria to be a Nigerian self.
We have a lot of issues about the economy in the country, and I don't see it befitting, to celebrate Independence Day. Because they're talking about the light issue, I think that they promised to exist at 24 hours light, but definitely we are not seeing it at all. Okay, like in my era right now, we don't have light. So we kind of we plead, so that they will kind of treat the masses well, and we should have good government in this country. Because apart, like what I've seen in the past years until now, we have been suffering a lot, So I want the government to really improve.
A man that is up to 64 years. No, I'm not up to 64. I'm not even up to 60. But I know if I am a man and I'm getting to 64 or being 64, I must have achieved a lot. Because from that 64, I will be, by now I have started preparing myself because I will achieve a lot. But Nigeria, honestly, telling you, I cannot say that I'm proud of what is going on now in Nigeria. By now, we must have gone so far in the sense that we cannot be rating Nigeria as one of the ugliest or poorest country by now. Because I remember when I was in primary school, my mom used to go to market with small money and she would buy a lot of things. But now, I will go to market with 50,000 naira. At times when I come back, I'll be looking as if I'll be thinking, I start to calculate myself, is there anything happened? Did I lose money? Did anybody put hand in my pockets to collect the money? But at the end of the day, after calculating, nobody touched my bag. Nigeria is deteriorating seriously, in the sense that I'm even afraid of our children. How are they going to cope because of the things that are happening now? Instead of trying to make things work well, things are getting worse every day. Look at our boys, look at our youth, jobless. They don't have work. Our job, they don't have no, and there's not even provision of, no even hope of getting that work. Look at medical department. Somebody will struggle and train a child to be a medical doctor, a pharmacist, or this thing. For you to do your housemanship, you are going to pay money for somebody to do housemanship, which means in no distant time we should be paying money for our children to go for youth service.
We need to really work hard to tackle insecurity. By insecurity is just the major problem. I feel like when insecurity is tackled, I think less of the problem, like all this fraud and all this kind of shit, like any other thing, will be reduced. But my prayer for Nigeria is get better and keep growing more, because I see us as a very rich country.
Me too, I'm also a graduate, and since I graduated, things has been so much very hard, because in this country today, if you don't have someone in the government or in upper, all these things, you find it difficult to get a job. Even when you merit it, it will still be difficult for you. So as it stands now, not only the youth, the whole country is facing challenge of hardship, you understand, because even our aged parents that spend their hard-earned money to train us, expecting us to be training them back at this time of their old age, still we have nothing to offer them because of the country in it. But I wouldn't say that we are going to relent. We still trying to, we continue to push harder, even if it is learning handwork in order to earn a living, because I know that certainly one day that certificate is going to bring work, and a better one at that.
The level of unemployment in Nigeria is maximum. There is nothing to talk about it. The government are not doing anything. See youths, every time they will graduate, no work. After graduation, it seems that those people that even left school to learn skills, they are even better than us that are graduates.
I don't believe there is unemployment. There is no unemployment in Nigeria. Being in Nigeria makes you unemployed. What do I mean by that? For me, I can't be unemployed. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a chef. So I started cooking from a tender age. I learned it from my mom, then I furthered into catering school. So I feel the parental upbringing should also help in curbing unemployment. So I don't think there is unemployment. Anybody that is unemployed in Nigeria just chose to be unemployed. The problem we have in Nigeria is we always look at the government. We always look up to the government. this time around, we don't need to look at the government. We should try to strive. We should try to, like this I can't be unemployed. I keep using myself as an example. I employ people. I'm a chef. I cook. I run Ota's mobile services. So I don't see the reason why there should be unemployment. Let us leave government aside. Though we need them. And that is where we should come together and look at their policies. Checkmate policies. That is where we will start looking at government. But if we are waiting for government to provide everything, it's not in Nigeria.
Like me now, I graduated in 2019 from Delta State University, and since then I haven't got a job. I've been doing everything on my own. That is why I decided to join this skill acquisition, which is investing into agriculture. And that is why I'm here today, so that I can improve myself in agriculture. And the government needs to understand and hear about this as well, because they need to improve as well in providing job opportunities for students as well. Yeah.
It's actually unemployment that can actually lead so many youths into doing so many awful things, which doesn't really make any sense in the society, because it can actually, how will I say it can actually place so many people into, let me just say for example, into stealing, into robbing, and sometimes even changing from what they are to what they are not.
It's no longer news that there's fuel scarcity in Nigeria. Today I'm at A Rano filling station in Metama along Kuba Expressway, whereby the station is not selling the products. To my left are the black market guys who are selling the product right in front of the filling station. The black market are selling the product at the rate of 1,000 naira per litre. All effort to speak to the management of the filling station was abortive.
The return of the queues coincided with the build-up to the nationwide Aid Bad Governance protest, which began on August 1st. Some of the filling stations visited on Wednesday were locked, suggesting that they had run out of stock. Those that were open had to contend long queues of vehicles to attend to. Those motorists who could not withstand the situation were forced to patronize vendors who sells in container refers to as black markets at between 1,000 and 1,005 per litre.
I'm buying black market, each 1 litre is 1,000 naira. So I'm feeling bad. And it is not supposed to be like that in Nigeria. Because not the way Nigeria get everything. Then they are suffering us. Please, we need help.
This administration has done only a year plus. And look at the unbearable hardship that people are facing. Even during the Buhari regime, when everything was hard, at least people could still feed. But now you find people, they can't even eat. They can't even eat 3 square meals at home. And then all of a sudden you expect them to just sit down and say nothing.
Despite long queues at its outlets, the NNPCL stations have continued to dispense the product at 580 naira per litre, while some private stations sell at about 690 per litre. The Shema Petroleum Station in Kadu and Emadeb Energy were both selling the product at 690 per litre.
In this kind of hardship, it's not fair now. No, we don't do that definitely. Once we have product, we definitely sell. Can you see that? You see the queue has been moving successful. We always open. Once we open like 100 car, we enter. Definitely after the about 70 buy, we now bring another 70s again. That's how we have been doing it. And if you see that the queue there is no longer 690, that's the highest price the government need people to sell. People are selling 850, 8 something like that, but we don't sell like that. We sell at 690. All our stations in Shemas, all the branches in Abuja, that's how we have been selling it.
Some motorists and residents expressed their anger and frustration over the situation in the face of existing excruciating hardship they had to contend with.
It's the implement of what that brought about this. So the protest is a good thing. It's long overdue. People are supposed to protest. But you know Nigeria, we are good in adapting issues. We adapt to all issues, either bad or good. People don't mind. So but I think this is the only way that government will hear it.
They carry me for my compound, come here, 300, 400, but now 1,000 naira, 1,500. What in they carry us 1,500? What in person can get feeding his children? Who can die?
The kind of shame to a Nigerian to see a police filling station and whereby the fuel is not there, but they are selling, black markets are selling fuel on behind of the police filling station. It is shameful. And look at this in transport is keeping increasing day by day. Tomorrow we'll enter car from here to maybe to Zuba, 1,000. Next tomorrow you'll find that it's more than 1,000. Where are we heading to?
Nigerians are eager to see how the Tinubu administration will handle the current fuel scarcity, which is being compounded by the ongoing protests across the country.
From the nation's capital, Abuja, I am Nasiru Usman, reporting for Signature TV News.
It will not help our economy. That's why we are praying that God will help us so that we can be able to touch, God will touch their mind in order to better the civil servants. Because the power of the nation is the civil servant. Because with the civil servants, our economy will be. See, this morning I went to somewhere where I normally pay 600 before. I paid 1,900 because of the fuel something. Because of that, we don't drive our motor again. If I don't have any serious thing that will make me to drive my motor, I don't go out again. One is 960, some 1,000, some 1,200. We are pleading that God will touch them. And it's not good for them staying at home. And they cannot afford going to work every day. Okay, see the minimum wage they are talking, they have not paid.
Basically, I feel that if you can work from home, I don't think it's everybody that have that choice. Most especially government workers. I don't think they have the choice of working from house. But if it's possible for you, if it's something that you can accommodate, then it's okay. But then at the end of the day, everybody will still be moving around. So you can't dismiss the fact that people will still take transport.
Most of the works people are doing now is remote job. You can stay at your home and work comfortably. The most important thing is working effectively. Doing what you know how to do best. It doesn't matter where you are to do the job, whether in the office or at home. And since the hike in price, since all these fuel subsidies started, a lot of people can't even make it to their workplaces, and they are expected to be at work every day. So I don't think it's bad for them to work from home. I think it will help, since enough people are not earning enough salary to spend it or waste it on transport. So it's not a bad idea working from home. A lot of people are doing it. Westerners, almost everybody's working from home nowadays.
Actually, the rate of things, the way things are in Nigeria, probably me, I don't know what to tell those workers. Like actually, I want the government actually, even though if they can, this minimum wage or any other thing, to increase their salary, because they are suffering on it. Each time we carry them, they keep on complaining. Government this, government that, and so I feel pity for them actually. I just feel pity for them. So at least the government should do something on it.
It would be good though if they work from their house, like they'll be staying at the home, work, because the government now they are not giving anything to them. Like the way I'm seeing now, people work with the government and they're even spending their own business money in order to make governments happy. Because I can see some government workers earn 70,000, but transport that the person spends in a month past 70,000. So, and I don't think that is reasonable, something that you can be doing business at your own and working for government. Still, you cannot be able to save anything for the year.
I don't really think that question needs an answer, because it's very, very obvious that the youths are suffering. We are suffering. It's not easy. They're saying that we are the leaders of tomorrow, but I can't even see it. How am I going to lead this country now? Everybody getting into that position, we tend to gain what they have been losing for the past few years. You understand?
The reason why most people leave the country is because as youths, the country is not favorable. Like most policies towards the youths don't. Most policies from the government don't favor the youth. Okay, my dad used to tell me that while he was growing up, things were better, and then now I cannot say same because I'm a student. And okay, my dad told me that when he was a student, as a young person as I am now, they used to have meal tickets and stuff in the university, but now it's not the same. And also, the government's policies towards the youth is unfavorable. When you're traveling, most times they see you with a laptop. You can assume a different thing and say you're a fraudster or something. So everything that comes from the government is seemingly against the youth. So
We Nigerians, we are used to this fact that if state is not failing, we still have to see struggle, do one or two things. But I feel on a normal, it ought not to be like that per se, because the government is supposed to make things way easier for us. In a sense, make it, because the system is pretty hard, very hard, very hard. I'm telling you, I have some final year friends currently, like friends in final year, and they're like, I was like asking them, how are you too happy that you're about leaving the school? They're like, oh my God, I know that when we leave school now, it's another world entirely, and it's not funny actually out there.
Okay, so I don't think the government is treating the youths well, especially in the aspect of employment, because there's not enough like jobs now for us. Most of the jobs are already like taken by people that are older and stuff like that. So we don't have enough jobs, not enough employment. Yeah, I think we should be celebrated because why not? I mean, we've done a lot for the country. We're still trying to do more for the country. So obviously, we should be celebrated.
It's not really fair to me because although government is trying, but their effort is not enough. They need to improve because we have a lot of youth who are on the street. They're not doing anything. We talk about crimes. If they engage them in something productively, I believe crime will reduce. So I suggest the government will look into engaging our youth, creating an enabling environment for those who are entrepreneurship inclined, those who can do their own things. Some of them have their own products, but they need the support of government like finance and reducing tax. Because even if you give a youth loan and the tax is high, they can still not cope.
Nigeria has to receipt about youth because youth is going astray because of attitude of Nigeria.
Youths are actually the leaders of tomorrow, so like they should be celebrated to like encourage them in all they do so that they will see the better side of life, so that they will actually feel like the society loves them. So with that, they will tend to like put in more effort in what they are doing and they will be more encouraged in their activities.
What I found most rewarding in being a community health nurse is my interaction with the society, my interaction with the village women. Because we're taking this health to the grassroots, and that is the primary healthcare initiative. And this primary healthcare initiative is about bringing healthcare to where people live and work. And what do? We do health education, telling them what they need to do to remain healthy. We talk about maternal and child healthcare, as she already rightly said, where we talk about pregnant women, take care of them, they go through the antenatal to ensure that at the end of the pregnancy, we have a life baby and a life mother. We talk about environmental sanitation, which is a topic of this year's annual health day, wellness through personal and environmental hygiene. In that environmental sanitation, we talk about how do you keep your environment clean? How do you take care of your environment so that the environment will be healthy? We talk about clearing the bushes around. We talk about destroying or doing away with empty containers that may likely contain water that mosquito would love to breed there. Then we talk about food and nutrition. How do we make the village women, how do we, the village people, how do we ensure that they have good nutrition? We don't want to talking about burger, talking about fried rice. We know our local food that they need to eat to be healthy. Then we talk about essential drugs. There are some drugs that are in essential drug list that is essential. When you talk about essential, it means a drug that is mostly needed.
Can you read out some?
We talk about anti-malaria because our area is we have malaria in our society. We talk about worm expellers. We talk about painkillers. We talk about antipyretic. We talk about small antibiotics. Antibiotics that will help them to remain healthy.
The thing about exchange rate determination has very, very much to do with how much you produce in your country. how much you export, how much need of foreign exchange you have, which is about how much you import. So one, how much do we produce? Our production level in Nigeria is very low. Two, how much do you export, which is the foreign exchange earning? We export very little, and we have a monolithic economy. We export only the oil. And when we say our dependence is on oil, you ask yourself, how much then do we earn from the oil in 1 year? How much does a country like Ireland earn from agricultural produce exports? How much does do other countries far less endowed in terms of good weather, climatic conditions, fertile lands, expansive land resource in Nigeria? How much do they export? They export far more than we earn from oil. Then two, how much do we require the foreign exchange? Because it begins to play between the forces of demand and supply. How much do we need foreign exchange? The dollar, the pound sterling, the Chinese yuan, and so on. We need a lot of it. Nigeria is a consuming economy. Our appetite for consumption is so high. We don't even want to be satisfied with the things we produce in Nigeria. So our appetite is very high. So our demand for foreign exchange is very, very high. So when you demand a lot of foreign exchange and you don't supply, you don't have enough earnings of foreign exchange, which constitutes your supply, naturally the price will go up. What happened in Nigeria is that everything turned to the negative when our production of agricultural produce went drastically low. Because you can say our output of oil is fixed in the short to medium term by OPEC quota. It is only in agriculture that you can tweak how much you produce. You can increase it drastically because we have the natural endowments to do so. But we have not done this. And so when we started having the crisis between the herders and the farmers, production of agricultural produce went down drastically. It was low, but it went further down. Farmers deserted the farms. At a point, we had come to the point where we were almost reaching a point of self-sufficiency in rice consumption, rice production. That is, we were curtailing the import. We were cutting off up to 500 something million US dollars used to import rice into Nigeria. We were almost cutting that off. But now we reversed again because people were becoming hungry. Prices of food items went skyrocketed. And then hunger was facing everybody. And the government had to start again allowing certain items of rice importation, a certain amount of rice importation into Nigeria. So these are the dynamics that determine the price, the exchange rate of our local currency.
The country is gradually sliding away from democratic approach. You see, when you look at what is playing out in the country, it's becoming clearer to us that the present government doesn't want any dissenting voice from anybody. They don't want the voice of opposition or anybody that will say anything that is different from what they have in mind. They also want to flog us without anybody crying. That is what they want to do. And once you are speaking against their actions, once you are speaking against their policies, you've become an enemy. You know, the initial time the police invited him, we were saying that there was a different intention from what they were painting. And you saw it, even when he got there, there was no clear interrogation there. They were moving from one baseless corner to another. You can't even say that this is exactly what they invited him for. Now, the DSS said it was petition written by NLC, which means it's an NLC thing. Or did the NLC person or persons accuse the president of being a terrorist or what? They haven't told us. Because if it's labor matter that has to do with labor union activities, why should DSS be involved? That is the first question. Then if it borders on the nation, and you are saying this petition was written, when was it written? And why must it be when he was attending TUC conference, international conference for that matter, that you should hold him? Was there any restriction on his movement? Did you give him order not to move out of the country? Because sometimes when they talk, they believe that we're all dafts and they're the only people that know everything, principally because they were given the powers to lead. That you are given the power to lead doesn't mean that your followers do not have sense. That is what some people do not understand. And it doesn't also mean that you think faster than the people you lead. It's only that somebody must be in front. So the way they reason, the way they go about things in the country doesn't suggest that they actually understand the nitty-gritties of democracy.
It's no longer news that there's fuel scarcity in Nigeria. Today, I'm at Irano filling station in Metama along Kuba Expressway, whereby the station is not selling the products. To my left are the black market guys who are selling the product right in front of the filling station. The black market are selling the product at the rate of 1,000 naira per liter. All effort to speak to the management of the filling station was abortive.
The return of the queues coincided with the build-up to the nationwide End Bad Governance protest, which began on August 1st. Some of the filling stations visited on Wednesday were locked, suggesting that they had run out of stock. Those that were open had to contend long queues of vehicles to attend to. Those motorists who could not withstand the situation were forced to patronize vendors whose sales in container refers to as black markets at between 1,000 and 1,005 per liter.
I'm buying black market, each 1 liter is 1,000 naira. So I'm feeling bad. And it is not supposed to be like that in Nigeria. Because not the way Nigeria get everything. Then they are suffering us. Please, we need help. This one is...
Welcome to Global News on Signature Television. I'm Charles Pius. In the headlines, President Bola Tinubu has ordered the release of minors arrested during the End Bad Governance protest. Nupeng disowns Marketers Association and warns Nigerians against exploitation. UK's Prince William begins climate-focused trip to South Africa. And United States music supremo Quincy Jones dies at 91. Details in a moment. President Bola Tinubu has directed the immediate release of the minors arrested during the End Bad Governance protest. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, made the disclosure on Monday in Abuja while addressing State House correspondents. Idris said that the Minister of Justice and Attorney General Lateef Fagbemi was asked to drop all charges against the minors immediately and ensure their release. He added that the President also directed the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction to ensure the welfare of the minors and reunion of their parents or guardians. According to Idris, the President also directed that an administrative committee be set up immediately to be headed by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs to look at all issues surrounding the arrest, detention, treatment and release of the minors, as anyone found to have committed any infractions. Appropriate disciplinary action would be taken against them. The Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers has dissociated itself from a group claiming to be an association of oil and gas transporters and marketers. NUPENG said the body lacks legal recognition, pointing out that members of the said group are seeking to exploit unsuspecting Nigerians. The national president of NUPENG, Williams Aporeha, and Secretary General Afolabi Olawale, said this in a statement issued in Port Harcourt on Monday. According to them, the general public and government institutions are warned and strongly advised to be very wary of individuals who are desperately seeking ways and means to continue to exploit Nigerians and collecting rents in other manners since the current administration removed subsidy from petroleum products and made smuggling unprofitable for them. They added that the leadership of the union recognizes National Association of the Road Transport Owners as the legitimate umbrella body of transporters in the Nigerian oil and gas industry and employers of petroleum tankers drivers, of which the union has collective bargaining agreement with on behalf of petroleum tankers drivers. Meanwhile, the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petroan, says that price of premium motor spirits PMS it plans to import will be cheaper than the current rates sold in the country. The National Public Relations Officer, Petroan, Joseph Obele, said this in a statement on Monday in Abuja. According to Obele, competition should be encouraged in the sector to avoid exploitation and profiteering, as he disputed the allegation by Dangote Refinery that Petroan would import substandard product at cheaper rates, stressing that the claims were not surprising. He added that Petroan had never compared the price of Dangote PMS with any other, and the fact that Dangote's PMS price was not known until it was released by the refinery on Monday. Obele said that he had concluded plans with its foreign refinery counterparts and financial partners to import the best quality of PMS and sell far less than the present selling rate of PMS in Nigeria. He further stated that the rate of 990 naira as announced by Dangote Refinery was inconsiderate, based on the fact that Dangote enjoyed massive concession for assessing foreign exchange during the construction of the refinery. The federal government is taking significant steps to improve the aviation sector by developing sustainable aviation fuel, low-carbon aviation fuel, and other cleaner energy sources. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, at the second consultative stakeholders engagement on developing and deploying the said aviation sector, is collaborating with the European Aviation Safety Agency to adopt sustainable aviation fuel and other cleaner energy sources. Keyamo added that the multiple technical analyses have shown that sustainable aviation fuels holds the greatest potential for reducing emissions in international aviation. The minister, represented by the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Chris Najomo, stated that the federal government, under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu, has placed aviation at the center of its national economic development and is committed to the global agenda of reducing greenhouse gas emission and transitioning to cleaner energy sources. The minister further elaborated that the partnership with EACA will help Nigeria create a roadmap for cleaner energy in aviation in line with the International Civil Aviation Organization's goal to minimize the environmental impact of civil aviation. A non-governmental organization, Relief Peach Initiative, is calling for collaboration with Signature Television in pushing its agenda of ensuring gender balance and inclusiveness in the country. The call was made when a delegation of the organization led by its convener, Ambassador Chinemerem Anyi, visited the Raymond Jokwesi Broadcasting House, the corporate headquarters of Signature Television at Thinkers Corner, ENUGU. Correspondent Ugonne Uwalo reports.
The campaign to get women more involved in decision-making and governance is getting greater attention around the world. Those pushing the narrative are convinced that getting more women in key decision-making positions will bring about greater development around the world. It is in line with this that a non-governmental organization, Relief Pitch Initiative, visited the Signature TV corporate headquarters in ENUGU to seek collaboration and partnership in giving more voice to the women. Leader of the delegation, Chinemerem Ayin, used the occasion to brief their hosts on their forthcoming and highly anticipated Wanyi Bife and Wodat Award Festival holding in Enugu. The aim of the event, she said, is to inspire women and bring them to the limelight.
Inspire women, encourage, empower them to do more, knowing that a lot of them have latent talents. Their innate potentials have not really found expression, and we're trying to expose them to platforms that will bring them to the limelight. And this year, we're having international delegates. We're having, okay, let me start by saying that this is the maiden edition. It's not like this year, it will now look like we have done before. No, this is the maiden edition, and we're having few international delegates. We're having women groups from far and near.
The president of Signature TV, Vim Martin Ilo, and the vice president, Finance and Human Resources, Barikumo Ado, pledged the support to the organization for the success of the upcoming event and their future engagement.
That you chose us. If there's anything we stand for, it is not just maintaining the standard. It's not just best practices. It's showing that we have the strength, we have the depth to deliver. And when we deliver, you will see the difference. That's why we call Signature TV. I'm not going to take your time, but I'm going to simply say this. I see a partnership that is going to evolve, and it's going to make each of us as partners grow beyond the heights we're envisioning now.
The event, which is coming up on the 7th of November 2024 at Amadio Event Center in Enugu, will feature exhibitions, lectures, and various empowerment schemes. Ugonne Uwalo for Signature TV.
The Enugu state government has flagged off the reconstruction of a 300-bed international hospital in Enugu. The project is expected to boost the state's healthcare sector and the economy of the state. Correspondent Chinemere Mikebunam has a report.
The reconstruction of the 300-bed Enugu International Hospital was initially started by the former governor of the state, Chimaro Kinnamani, as a private hospital. Performing the flag-off, Governor Peter Amba said the project is expected to not only improve the health services but also contribute to the growth of the economy of the state. The ultra-modern health facility situated on 9 hectares of land has capacity for 250 inpatients, 50 outpatient beds, wards, cafeteria, offices, and other state-of-the-art amenities. Governor Mba envisioned Enugu as a hub for medical tourism and positioned the state as a preferred destination for businesses, investments, and living. He assured that the project will be commissioned within 13 months.
What we're witnessing is a reaffirmation of that pledge to make Enugu State a hub for medical tourism. On completion, as you've already heard, this 300-bed Enugu International Hospital will offer advanced and specialized health care services. It was carefully designed to mop up the market share in the medical tourism space.
The project contractor, Anthony Nadia, pledged to deliver the best quality hospital in West Africa.
I just want to make a promise that this hospital will be one of the best this country has to offer. One of the best in West Africa. A hospital that will enable the citizens of the state, Nigerians, to receive the best quality care possible. Nothing will be left out. I can assure you that this project will finish on time. We're feeling the pressure. We're working towards that.
Stakeholders at the event expressed optimism about the project, noting that the hospital will connect the dots in the primary, secondary, and tertiary health care in the state.
Your Excellency, is just visible for everybody to see that this is a phase 1. Because as everybody is seeing, there are other buildings here, sitting on, give or take, 9 hectares. Your plan here, Your Excellency, is that nothing short of a medical campus will be existent in this place, so that that manifesto promise of ENUGU becoming the medical tourism capital will be manifest. And Your Excellency, it is a thing of joy that it will happen, and we will see it with our own eyes. No government has ever built this. It's only the dream of private sectors. But Enugu State has made it possible. We can be more proud than we are with our governor, because the height that he is getting this state to is actually will be realized in tomorrow, which he has already seen today.
The world-class facility is seen as a significant step towards transforming Enugu State's healthcare landscape and position it as a leader in medical tourism. Chinemerem Ikebuna, Signature TV News.
Of insecurity pervading the southeast states, which has been worsened by the activities of non-state actors, is taking its toll on businesses and the economy of the region. Correspondent Ndu Walez examines the effects on the hospitality industry.
Owerri, the Imo State capital, has always occupied a prime position in terms of availability of hotels and realization centers. This, for many decades, made it a destination of choice for those who want the best that the hospitality industry can offer. From Port Harcourt Road to heart of Owerri capital city, from Wedra Road to Mbise Road, the Cathedral Junction, New Owerri, and so on, the list is endless. Imo Concord Hotels, Bon Hotel, Hillview, among numerous others, are there to serve the needs of the clients day and night. However, most of these facilities appear to be begging for patronage at the moment. A media practitioner, Ikechukwu Amechi, who has been in Owerri, summed up the situation.
Before now, Owerri does not sleep. All the joints in Owerri, people go to take all manner of delicacies. Isiegu, pepper soup, fish pepper soup, all kinds of things. And they stay until very, very late into the night. But these days, before 9 p.m., everybody's rushing down home. And when people don't stay out, then all those outdoor activities are negatively impacted. I am even wondering, with the very low occupancy rate that we have now, how are they coping?
Apart from the harsh economy that has adversely affected this once booming industry, the state of insecurity appears to have a greater impact on the businesses.
Out of town and going to several places. If you go to a place like Asaba and see the level of development that is taking place there, and the people who are doing those things are all Igbo people. Even traders in Onitsha main market, they finish, and at the end of the day, they just cross River Niger and go to Asaba to sleep. In the morning, they come back. People who even have businesses to do in Onitsha or Anambra, they will go and lodge in hotels in Asaba.
As it is in Owerri, Imo State, so too in all other states of the southeast. All eyes appear to be on the governors of the geopolitical zone to tackle the challenge frontally to stem further decline in the economy of the region and reduce poverty index. Ndu Abaleze, Signature TV News.
The police in Ebonyi State have arrested 177 suspects, made up of 162 males and 15 females, for various offenses in the month of October 2024. 92 suspects have already been charged to court, while others will be arraigned once investigations are completed. Briefing journalists on the achievements made by the command, the police public relations officer, Joshua Ukandu, gave the details of the crimes and arrests.
The command has employed strategic steps through increased stakeholder engagement to help bring crime to the barest minimum. Through this approach, we've been able to reduce the incidence of violent crimes while operatives of the command are not relenting in our effort to make the state safe for all. In the month under review, the command arrested 177 suspects of various offenses. 92 suspects have been charged to court, while others will be arraigned on the conclusion of investigations. For the issue of car theft is rising this period, and the owners of cars should be able to provide means. Trackers, very important. If you don't want to go through trackers, you can also get these locks for your vehicle as well, to lock your steering or pedal locks. This would prevent, even if the person has a master key to access your vehicle, before they would open those locks, it will be very hard. Then this period also, people have to be very careful, particularly those that are going around during the night on issues of phone snatching. And the command is very ready. We have different sections that are ready to respond immediately if there are issues with crime.
In various crimes, including the killing and harvesting of vital organs of Chikezie Idenyi, kidnap and rape of Ms. Ubo in a forest behind Ukwaba Primary School by Omini Friday, Ubochi Ifeanyi, and others at large. Some of the suspects have confessed to the crime, alleging that they only killed Chikezie Idenyi in order to use his blood to cure a cognitive impaired person.
So unu chọrọ ije ọbara ya ọwụ through ihe ndị bekee ka ọwụ nke omenala ele otu unu chọrọ omenala onye gwakwanụ gị na a na-eji ọbara agwọ ihe ahụ oke Chikezie nyere unu 3 million before unu egbuokwa Chikezie ahụ ebe kunu bụ ozu ya gakwanụ side ebe Peter ọka unu mmiri ọbara ya mgbe unu
Umweziali Uriozo community, Ezan North Council area, who had been terrorizing the community and who, upon interrogation, confessed to possessing a locally made single-barrel pistol, which was recovered along with 5 live cartridges. The police command in Anambra State has pledged to arrest the suspected killers of 22 persons in Nibo and Ifite Oka communities in Oka South local government area of the state. The Commissioner of Police in the state, Nage Itam, made this known in Orca South on Monday when he led an anti-sit-at-home patrol team to the area and carried out security assessment and advocacy in the 21 local government areas of the state. The incident tagged Nibo Ifite Orca massacre witnessed the killing of over 15 persons in Nibo and 7 others under similar circumstances on October 20 and October 25 in the area. The command is on the trail of some already mentioned suspects involved in the killings, as it has advised the Executive Council members, traditional rulers, and the President General of the communities to continue to work with the police and other security agencies. According to the CP, their cooperation will assist police to improve security surveillance and timely security interventions in the state. He therefore urged residents to report suspicious persons and unusual movement to the nearest police station or through the command's emergency phone number. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Air Force on Monday said strikes from its fighter jets killed several terrorists planning to disrupt this repair being carried out on the Shiroro-Kaduna transmission line. Terrorists had destroyed the transmission line, a major conduit supplying electricity to the north, which has plunged 17 northern states into darkness, leaving them without electricity for the past 3 weeks. In response, President Bola Tinubu ordered troops to provide cover for security for electricity workers to enable them to carry out necessary repairs on the damaged infrastructure. The Director of Public Relations and Information, Nigerian Air Force, Air Commodore Olushola Akimboyewa, said the intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance missions carried out by their service confirmed the presence of terrorist fighters converging to disrupt the repair of the transmission line. Akimboyewa said in a coordinated mission to support power restoration efforts in Kaduna and other northwestern states, the NAF on November 1, 2024, executed a series of air interdiction operations targeting terrorist positions located deep within the Alawa forest in Shiroro local government area of Niger State. According to him, the strike followed a series of ISR missions, which confirmed the presence of terrorist fighters who were converging to disrupt ongoing power restoration. Akimboyewa added that the Air Force has dominated the airspace in the area to prevent the terrorists from interfering in the efforts to restore power to the affected states, as NAFS is committed to collaborate with other security agencies in protecting vital infrastructure and ensuring the swift and full restoration of essential services for Kaduna and neighboring states. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, on Monday commenced training of its officers and other stakeholders on reviewed data collection instruments for the National Action Plan on Human Trafficking in Nigeria. The training was organized by NAPTIP in collaboration with the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, supported by the Swiss government. The NAPTIP Director General, Binta Adamu Bello, said the training was a component of a broader project entitled From Policy to Action, Implementation of the National Action Plan on Human Trafficking in Nigeria, 2022 to 2026. Represented by the Kano Zonal Commander of the agency, Abdullahi Babale, the Director General observed that reliable data was the bedrock of effective counter-trafficking programming. She added that the training will significantly contribute to the success of national anti-trafficking initiatives, enhancing Nigeria's standing among nations in combating transnational crime. Still to come, bread makers struggle to stay afloat amid rising costs in Nigeria. Osun Assembly passes bill to regulate lottery and real estate sectors. These and more after the break. Welcome back. You're watching Global News on Signature Television. Bakers across Nigeria are grappling with soaring costs of the key ingredients like flour, sugar, and yeast, which have surged due to economic downturns and heavy reliance on imports. In response, some bakers have been forced to raise prices and cut production while calling on the government for regulatory support and favorable policies to keep their business viable. Adding to the strain are rising expenses in the energy, transportation, and distribution. Increased diesel costs and higher electricity tariffs have further escalated production costs, making it harder for bakeries to stay profitable. Signature TV's correspondent Nole Francis had spoke to bakery owners and workers who expressed how they are struggling to remain profitable and avoid bankruptcy.
Personally, as much as I work here, the prices of product, the flour, the materials for production has increased. So invariably, it has affected virtually everything we do here. The only thing it has not affected is salary. it cannot affect salary, but the demand for bread has reduced drastically. For premium bakery, to the best of my knowledge, the price is just a little bit increased, a little bit, just little adjustment. The round bread usually goes for 200, now 250.
It has affected us negatively. In fact, the price of everything has increased. We usually buy, I think early this year, we buy flour at the rate of 35,000. But now it has gone up to 65,000. In fact, at the time we buy flour up to 85,000. The price of butter, the price of gas. So definitely, the price of bread will go up. And because the price of bread has gone up, it has also affected the demand on bread. We bake up to 7 bags. Like last year, we baked up to 7 bags in a day, but now we bake like 2 bags. So it has affected our sales also. If the government can come in and bring down the price of flour and other baking materials and make production easy for us, we'll be very glad.
To be honest, it's really affecting. Like things, everything changed. Like things are very cost in the market, and we that is doing the production, at times it's not been easy for us. Sometimes if we do the bread, people will complaining the bread is small, this and that. But to us, we are not even benefiting anything much inside, because before we go to market and buy the way things are now, my brother, you choke. People are really suffering. People are suffering. Even we doing the work, we are suffering. It's not been easy for us. So how wish government would look into this matter and do something about it and help us out. We are all complaining. It's not easy for everybody. So let them do something about it. Let them work on it, please. We are begging. Let them work on it and help us all.
The government should do something about the price of flour. I don't even want to talk about the price of the equivalent of naira to dollar. That one is old story. But this incessant, continuous increase in price of fuel, I don't know what the government do. I don't know what Tinubu is planning. He should replan before he will not have anybody to rule again, so that people will not die of starvation and hunger. We are not selling as much as we are selling before. By this time last year, we buy flour 30-something thousand, sugar within that range, but sugar is almost 100,000. We bought butter, a carton of butter, few months ago, 20-something. This month, as I'm talking about, 50. So where do we go from here? I beg you, Tinubu and his ally, they should please have mercy on the masses before we go and meet our Creator before the time.
Honestly, it's not easy. When we started, I remember a bag of flour is 28,200. But now, as we speak, a bag of flour is 62,500 naira. A bag of sugar is 82,100 naira without transportation. So by the time you purchase all those things, and you have to set 2 workers, you have to maintain your machine, you have to eat, and you have to pay electricity bill, you buy water. Honestly, it's not funny. Producing bread now is just like most of the bakeries produce chaff, nothing but chaff. Because if you say you want to add ingredients, butter and milk, and whatsoever you and other things. So how will you gain? What is your profit at the end of the day? You realize nothing. So as you just take a look at this house. We are supposed to be producing by now, but we are not because the things is hurting us, is hitting us deeply. So it's not easy.
The Ondo State Governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, has reiterated his commitment to ensuring the improved welfare of workers in the state. Aiyedatiwa also promised that he would not downsize the workers in the state and assured his administration's commitment to prompt and regular payments of salaries, allowances, and pensions. He says this on Monday in Akure during the Ondo State Public Service Week celebration lecture with the theme creating and managing a future-ready public service, a pathway to sustainable development. The governor further stated that the public service requires to be rigged and equipped to upscale its roles and processes to meet the trends of best world practices in public administration. He added that the capacity of the institutions and its operators must be enhanced for effective and efficient service delivery to justify the huge resources invested in it and to serve the society better. Meanwhile, the Osun State House of Assembly has passed the Lotteries and Gaming Bill and the Estate Agency Regulatory Authority Establishment Bill. A statement by Olamide Teamiyu, the Chief Press Secretary to the Speaker, Adewale Egbedu, said the House's passage of the two bills would strengthen the regulatory framework around lotto and real estate business in the state. Teamiyu, who said the bills were passed at the Parliament's plenary led by Egbedu on Monday, noted that the successful passage of the bill marked another achievement in the Assembly's legislative agenda. He added that the bill will safeguard the rights of both property buyers and sellers, ensuring their fair practices in real estate transactions when signed into law. The Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industry has stated it is partnering with the Chinese trade delegation to secure deals worth millions of dollars to drive Nigeria's industrialization and support its struggling economy. The Director General of the LCCI, Chinyere Almona, disclosed in a statement on Monday that Chinese trade partners would participate in the 2024 Lagos International Trade Fair scheduled from November 5th to November 7th in Lagos. According to Almona, partnerships with countries like China, which leads in sectors such as machinery production, automotive manufacturing, and energy management, are essential to boosting Nigeria's local industries and fostering sustainable development. She added that the collaboration is aimed to forge lucrative business relationships that will not only enhance local production but also bring new investments into critical Nigerian industries. The federal government says it will prioritize the nation's grazing reserves as a sustainable approach to addressing farmer-herders clashes. The pioneer minister of the Federal Ministry of Livestock Development, E.D. Maiha, said this on assumption of duty at an inaugural news conference on Monday in Abuja. According to Maiha, the ministry was established by President Bola Tinubu to modernize the livestock sector, improve productivity, enhance food security, and address the long-standing conflict between farmers and herders. He added that the ministry would create an enabling environment that allows for investments, climate-smart livestock farming, modernization, and commercialization. In collaboration with relevant stakeholders, he said the ministry shall work towards the prevention, control, and eradication of major transboundary animal and zoonotic diseases. He, however, listed some of the challenges facing the sector to include aging stocks, climate change, limited access to credit facilities, lack of modern technologies, and inadequate infrastructure, describing them as significant hurdles that are insurmountable. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Joseph Telumon, has reiterated the federal government's determination to rehabilitate dams across Nigeria to avert floods and boost irrigation activities. Telumon gave the assurance when he led a team of the Inter-Ministerial Technical Committee on Evaluation of Dams in Nigeria to Shagari Dam in Sokoto on Monday. The minister, who was represented by Mrs. Oluwatosin Abiola, Deputy Director of Dams and Reservoir Operations in the ministry, said many dams in Nigeria were aging and required maintenance and upgrade. He explained that the technical subcommittee, chaired by Director of Dams and Reservoir Operations, was constituted to conduct the exercise. Telumon added that the committee was inaugurated to assess the physical condition of dams nationwide and examine their impact on local communities. The minister stressed the need for increased investment in the dam construction and maintenance to ensure maximum utilization of their capacity for food production in the country. The managing director of Sokoto Rima Basin Development Authority, Mohammed Bachure, commended President Bola Tinubu for the initiative, stating that the Shagari Dam has 15 million cubic capacity, 13 meters height, and 1,340 meters length, with 240 hectares of irrigation land at present. He added that 1,000 hectares have been proposed as dam irrigatable land, and at present, 70% level of completion is achieved. The wife of Bauchi State Governor Aisha Mohammed has disbursed 2.6 million naira to 130 youths and women to encourage growth of small enterprises at the grassroots. Mohammed stated this during the disbursement exercise on Monday in Al-Kaleri town, headquarters of Al-Kaleri local government area of the state, where she stated that the gesture was aimed to encourage entrepreneurial skills, training activities, and promote self-reliance among women and youth at the grassroots. According to her, beneficiaries are expected to engage in delicacies and soft drinks processing at their places of abode without engaging in street hawking. Mohammed also donated 200 bags of fertilizer to 35 community-based groups to support dry season activities and food items to vulnerable households, as well as instructional materials to 10 non-formal Arabic and Quranic schools to enhance teaching and learning process, and urged the beneficiaries to engage in productive activities to improve their social and economic well-being. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Demographic and Health Survey, NDHS 2023-2024, has revealed a significant gap in childhood immunization across Nigeria, with 31% of children aged 12 to 23 months who did not receive any vaccines. The NDHS findings made available highlighted challenges in achieving universal immunization coverage and reducing child mortality in the country. It stated that the routine vaccines in Nigeria include essential shots such as BCG for tuberculosis, oral and inactivated polio vaccines OPV, and IPV, tetanus, and hepatitis B. According to the agency, in spite of the expanded immunization schedule, only 39% of children aged 12 to 23 months were fully vaccinated with basic antigens. The survey also revealed stark regional disparities in vaccination coverage, indicating that the Southeast recorded the highest BCG vaccination rate at 93.9%, while the Northwest lagged at 50.2%. It said that urban areas generally showed higher coverage than rural areas, where many children remained unvaccinated due to logistic challenges and limited access to healthcare facilities. Meanwhile, Dr. Muyi Aino, the Executive Director of National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, acknowledged the concerning statistics and highlighted ongoing efforts to boost immunization rates. He said the gap in vaccination coverage leaves a significant number of children vulnerable to preventable diseases, and explained that the agency initiated outreach programs targeting underserved communities and collaborating with state government to enhance vaccination infrastructure. The Executive Director of the Vaccine Network for Disease Control, Chika Ofo, explained the need for community engagement and robust public awareness to combat vaccine hesitancy and misinformation. She added that increased funding and resources for NPHCDA are essential to strengthen Nigeria's routine immunization program and achieve full vaccination coverage by 2030. The Naira depreciated at the official market on Monday, trading at 1,676 to the dollar. Data from the official trading platform of the FMDQ exchange, a platform overseeing the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market, NAFEM, revealed that the Naira lost 10 Naira, 18 kobo. This represents the 0.61% loss when compared to the previous trading on Friday, November 1, when it exchanged at 1,666.72 to a dollar. Also, the total daily turnover reduced to $79.47 million on Monday, down from $94.20 million recorded on Friday. At the investors and exporters I&E window, the Naira traded between 1,690 and 1,591 against the dollar. The Director General of the Nigerian Mining Cadastral Office, MCO, Obadiah Nkom, says the office has generated 8.1 billion naira revenue since January. Nkom disclosed this while welcoming the Senate Committee on Solid Minerals, led by its chairman, Senator Samson Ekong, on an oversight visit to the NMCO headquarters on Monday in Abuja. He described the revenue as a record-breaking achievement, marking a substantial rise in earnings for the agency. Nkom added that the surge reflects the country's strengthening commitment to diversifying its economy through the solid mineral sector and improving its mining sector's regulatory framework. The DG, however, attributed the increase in revenue to enhanced transparency, enforcement measures, and digitalization that streamline the licensing and revenue collection processes. Still to come, Biden arrives at White House on election eve. Israel has failed to implement U.S. recommendations on Gaza aid. Do stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Global News on Signature Television. Britain's Prince William began a 4-day trip to South Africa on Monday by meeting young environmentalists in Cape Town. The trip is centered on William's annual Shot Prize, which on Wednesday will be awarded to 5 winners who will receive £1 million each to pursue innovative projects addressing environmental issues. In his first engagements, the 42-year-old Prince met with 120 environmentalists from Africa and Asia who are taking part in a new program for youth leaders that accompanies the prize. Prince William launched the Shot Prize in 2020, inspired by a visit to Namibia. Its name is a nod to former U.S. President John F. Kennedy's ambitious Moonshot project, which led to the 1969 lunar landing. The Prince of Wales is making the trip alone as his wife, Kate, is still managing a return to work after finishing a course of preventative chemotherapy for cancer. U.S. President Joe Biden arrived at the White House on election eve on Monday after spending the weekend in Wilmington, Delaware. A presidential election unlike any other in U.S. history entered its last full day on Monday, with Donald Trump and Kamala Harris scrambling for an edge in a contest each portrays as an existential moment for America. Even after the astonishing blur of events over the last few months, the electorate is divided down the middle, both nationally and in the 7 battleground states expected to determine the outcome. The winner may not be known for days after Tuesday's vote. Former President Trump, a 78-year-old Republican, survived 2 assassination attempts weeks after a New York City jury made him the first former U.S. president to be convicted of a felony. Vice President Kamala Harris was catapulted to the top of the Democratic ticket in July, giving her a chance to become the first woman to hold the world's most powerful job after President Joe Biden dropped his re-election bid under pressure from his party. Meanwhile, Hindus in Tamil Nadu performed prayers on Monday for U.S. Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris ahead of the elections. Harris's maternal grandfather, P.V. Gopalan, was born more than a century ago in the leafy village of Thulasendrapuram in what is now southern India's Tamil Nadu state. In the city of Madurai, a Hindu priest predicted her victory, saying his organization put together a special prayer session for her. In Thulasendrapuram, a priest performed a fire ritual while offering prayers.
Our Indian as well as Tamil Vamsavali leader, Kamala Harris, going to participate in that as a president election. Definitely, she will win the election. For that occasion, we, the Madurai Anushatin Anugrah
received global attention 4 years ago when its residents prayed for victory for Harris's Democratic Party in 2020 before celebrating her inauguration as U.S. Vice President by setting off firecrackers and distributing food. Harris and her Republican rival Donald Trump were scrambling to get supporters to the polls in a historically close contest, which means it could take days for the winner to emerge. Germany's Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock has assured Ukraine of Germany's full support in its defense against the Russian war of aggression, particularly in the view of the U.S. presidential election. In view of the approaching winter and the ongoing Russian attacks on the energy supply, Baerbock pledged an additional 200 million euros in winter aid to the country. Baerbock arrived in Kyiv in the morning for her 8th visit since the start of the Russian war of aggression in February 2022. After the meeting with Foreign Minister Sybiha, a meeting with President Volodymyr Zelensky was also planned. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andriy Sybiha said he had discussed the need for decisive action in response to North Korean involvement in the war in Ukraine with his German counterparts, Annalena Baerbock. Baerbock also criticized the internal disputes in the government's coalition in Germany. Baerbock, at the press conference, said that all those involved should concentrate on their tasks due to the international developments and challenges. Spain's King Felipe met with Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez and Defense Minister Margarita Robles Fernandez on Monday as the group joined an emergency meeting to discuss Valencia's deadly floods. The King and Prime Minister had previously visited flood-hit areas on Sunday, where frustrated residents chanted "murderers, murderers," and threw mud at the pair. Locals criticized late alerts from authorities about the dangers and the perceived delays in response by emergency services. Public anger is mounting over the disaster that has killed at least 217 people, with dozens of others still unaccounted for. Almost all of deaths occurred in the Valencia region and more than 60 in the suburb of Payporta. Meanwhile, 2,500 soldiers arrived in the flood-hit east of Spain on Monday to reinforce efforts to locate bodies and clear debris as government officials traded blame over how the worst flooding in decades has been handled. Locals criticized late alerts from authorities about dangers and perceived delayed response by emergency services. Commander of the Army's Emergency Response Services, General Javier Marcos, said he had 500 soldiers to be deployed within 15 minutes of seeing the flood warning on Tuesday, who were able to enter hard-hit areas. Barcelona Airport on Monday was hit by heavy rains, causing a leak and minor flooding inside the terminal. Workers were seen mopping up rainwater coming from the ceiling as a puddle formed around them, with rain lashing the airside's tarmac as a Ryanair plane sits in view of the terminal windows. Airport operator ANA said about 50 flights due to takeoff from Barcelona's partially flooded El Prat airport were cancelled or severely delayed, while 17 due to land there were diverted. Fatalities from Spain's worst flash floods in modern history edged higher to 217 on Sunday, almost all of them in the Valencia region and more than 60 in the suburb of Payporta. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum criticized the country's Supreme Court on Monday for what she described as overstepping its authority as it weighs whether to deem part of a recently enacted judicial reform unconstitutional. The dispute pits a majority of the 11-member top court against a new president who took office last month over the limits of the court's power to review the constitutional judicial overhaul that requires a switch to a system of elected judges over the next couple of years. The overhaul was passed by a 2/3 majority of Congress in September and then approved by a majority of Mexico's states legislatures, both requirements for constitutional amendments. Only 3 members of the courts have publicly stated they support the reform. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi condemned a deliberate attack on Hindu temple in Canada, saying on Monday that he expected the Canadian government to ensure justice and uphold the rule of law. In Chandigarh, a Hindu group protested the attack on Monday, calling attention to acts of violence committed against their community by Sikh separatists. The violence broke out at an event organized by the consular staff of the Indian High Commission in Brampton, media reports say. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, via a post on social media platform X, said that such an act of violence is unacceptable, and it is every Canadian's right to be able to practice their faith freely and safely. Ottawa had recently alleged that India's Interior Minister Amit Shah was linked to a campaign of violence and intimidation targeting Sikh separatists in Canada. New Delhi dismissed the allegations as absurd and baseless. Members of the Mormon Lebaron family marched on Monday in Mexico City to demand justice for the murder of their family in 2019 on the massacre's anniversary, which at the time became one of the bloodiest attacks on U.S. citizens in the country in years. Demonstrators marched to the National Palace, where they read the manifesto as police officers prevented them from accessing the building. Participants then burned letters written to the victims and proceeded towards the U.S. Embassy, where relatives handed the documents to Ambassador Ken Salazar. Gunmen killed 9 women and children in a daytime attack at the border of Chihuahua and Sonora states. The victims belongs to the Mexican-American Lebaron, Langford, Miller, and Johnson families, members of breakaway Mormon communities that settled in northern Mexico's hills and plains decades ago. The massacre prompted then U.S. President Donald Trump to offer to help the neighboring country wipe out drug cartels believed to be behind the ambush. Meanwhile, the United States has told Israel it must take steps in the next 1 month to improve the humanitarian situation in Gaza or face potential restrictions on U.S. military aid. The State Department said on Monday it has not seen a significant turnaround in aid reaching Palestinians in northern Gaza. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin have written to Israel officials earlier this month demanding concrete measures to address the worsening situation in the Palestinian enclave. State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said they expected Blinken to speak with Israeli officials later on Monday.
We, as you as you noted, we're quite clear that we oppose that legislation. We have serious concerns about the implications of it being fully implemented, as well as our concerns about the underlying humanitarian situation in Gaza even before Israel passed this legislation that relates to the inability of a sufficient number of trucks to get into Gaza and the inability of humanitarian workers for a variety of reasons to be able to deliver that aid to places inside Gaza, to the people that need it. So we have been engaged with the government of Israel on this since long before we sent the letter, but really about a number of steps that we think they need to take since the Secretary of Defense Austin sent that letter on October 14th. The Secretary talked to the Minister of Strategic Affairs on Friday, Ron Dermer, about that, where we stand. I expect that he will talk to further Israeli officials later today about what steps they have already taken, what more they can do. They have told us at various stages that there are a number of steps that they have in process that they haven't completed yet. We're paying close attention to that, and we'll pay close attention to that over the coming days. And that as of today, the situation has not significantly turned around. We have seen an increase in some measurements. We've seen an increase in the number of crossings that are open, but just if you look at the stipulated recommendations in the letter, those have not been met at this point.
So that's a fail.
We're not at the end of the period yet. They have not. If you look at what we ultimately judge, what we ultimately judge on, which is the results on the ground, the results are not good enough today.
Right. No. So that's a fail.
They certainly they certainly do not have a passing grade. They have failed. I said they have failed to implement all of the things that we recommend in that letter. Now that said, we are not at the end of the 30-day period, and we are in conversation. It's not the end. It's not the end of the semester, and the situation has not improved sufficiently in the 21, 22 days, whatever it is, since we sent that letter.
Okay.
There is still a week or so to go until we reach the end of the period, but there is much more that we need to see them do.
Yet to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's government since the Gaza conflict began, raising the prospect of a shift in Washington's support for Israel. The letter outlines specific steps Israel must take within 30 days, including enabling a minimum of 350 trucks to enter Gaza per day, instituting pauses in fighting to allow aid delivery, and rescinding evacuation orders to Palestinian civilians when there is no operational need. Israel says it is following international law in its operations aimed at rooting out Hamas militants hiding in tunnels and among Gaza's civilian population. And that's the news this hour. Join me in another 5 minutes for the morning show. Stay with us.
This morning. Today is Tuesday, all right, the 5th in the month of November, and it's shining bright out there. All right, my name is Belinda Nwobodo, by the way, and I'm with Charles Pius. Good morning, Charles.
Good morning, Belinda. How are you?
The way you started on the lighter mood this morning, did alerts drop?
Well, speaking of alerts, I mean, these days, alerts these days are not even a way to make you excited and be happy, because as soon as the alert drops, there are things that are waiting to swallow it. So as soon as the alert comes, it just disappears. It goes away. So the alerts these days are not a thing to be looking forward to, because it's practically makes no sense.
Even with the 80,000 naira new minimum wage.
Minimum wage, you see, there's a thin line between that and minimum wage. If for instance, fuel pump price is still at, say, around 400 or 500 or 600, and then you have minimum wage put at 80,000 naira, then you can start looking at something that has a measure of human face. But it's not the same thing, given that fuel, the average price that Nigerians buy fuel is 1,200 naira, and transportation has soared, food prices have soared, clothing have soared, everything have soared. So a minimum wage of 80,000 naira would do nothing for a family of one, not to talk of two. And you know that Africans love having or making babies, and I can imagine what it will do for a family of one or two. Businesses are even shutting down. Businesses are cutting cost and even cutting workforce in order to stay afloat. So it's just crazy out there. So the alert is nothing to write home about these days.
All right, let's take a look at what's happening on our newspaper headlines this morning. But before then, we'll go a short break and we'll come back. You don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We'll be beginning with the Punch newspapers this morning, looking at the trending news on the Punch. Hungry miners. Tinubu orders probe as federal government backs down. With the rider, miners' arraignment dent on Tinubu's government, says opposition. CSOs demand compensation for detained protesters. That's on the page 2.
On page 19, EFCC arrest ex-Delta Governor Okowa over alleged 1.3 trillion naira fraud.
Imported petrol cheaper than Dangote's, 990 naira per litre, says marketers.
This is crazy. How is that even possible? Well, Dangote yesterday crashed the price of diesel. We were excited about it. How about he crashes the price of fuel, since he has it? UK to raise tuition for varsities in 2025.
Stock markets rise as Trump-Harris battle for U.S. presidency. I'm more overly excited. I'm looking forward to what is going to happen today.
Yeah, the beauty of democracy, the largest democracy in the world. So we're looking at what happens. But the result will not be out today or tomorrow. It will be out maybe by weekend, hopefully, depending on the people who are involved. Because last election, I understand, it took days. In fact, almost a week before the elections were called in 2020. So this one, I hope it doesn't extend that much. All right, cleric bags life jail for raping minor. inside mosque. That's on page 6 of the Punch.
Tinubu asked new ministers to stay resilient and amid criticism and abuse. Okay.
We're moving over to the Nation newspaper. EFCC arrests Okowa over alleged 1.3 trillion naira frauds.
Economy gradually coming out of challenges, says Tinubu, with rider debt servicing down to 65% of revenue. Be focused, President tells new ministers.
D-Day for most contentious U.S. elections, with the rider Trump, Harris in tight race. 77 million already voted.
Appeal court quashes conviction of ex-CJN Water on Nohem. That's on the page 3.
Owando posts 2 trillion naira turnover in first half of 2024.
Varsity